After losing in Kanto and taking an L in Johto, Ash sets his sights on a new ambition, the Hoenn League. But how good was he in Hoenn? Time to find out in another episode of Trash or GOAT, Ash Hoenn Edition. To begin, we're going to measure Ash's performance by 3 metrics: the Pokemon he caught, how he raised his Pokemon, and how far he made it to the Hoenn League including battle strategies. Let's start off with his Pokemon. Ash's Hoenn team has to be by far one of his worst teams ever. Apart from Pikachu, which he always has, Ash's first catch in Hoenn was a Tailo, which isn't a bad pick. Swallow is commonly seen as a good flying type to use, with high speed and the ability Guts. Ash's next catch is probably his best pick by far, Trico. Trico is one of the starters of Hoenn and one of the best grass types in the region and among all starters. But after this, things just start getting worse. Ash's next pick is a Corphish. Hoenn is known for its water type Pokemon. The region itself is half water, so for Ash to have all these options and go for a Corphish is just so dumb. I mean, how cool would it have been to see Ash raise a Feebas into a Milotic? However, things just get worse. Ash's next Pokemon and his fire type for the region is Torkoal. This has to be one of my least favorite fire type Pokemon and Hoenn Pokemon by far. I don't know anybody who plays Gen 3 games with Torkoal. Now, to be fair, when it comes to fire types, there aren't a lot of choices, but going off the games, Ash does have access to Ninetales and Canterop, and personally, it would have been cool seeing Ash with a Ninetales, even if it wasn't a Gen 3 Pokemon. Next, let's move on to Galili. Now, it's pretty cool to see Ash have an ice type on his team. That's not normally what he carries. Now, in my opinion, Galili is mid. It's not the worst, but it certainly isn't one of the best picks he could have made. Between this and his last pick, Aipom, it would have been cool to see Ash carry a Beldum or a Bagon, or at least something to round out his team, which honestly looks like it just came out of a randomizer. Now let's move on to him raising his Pokemon. Apart from Galili and Swellow, which are 2-stage evolutions, Ash doesn't fully evolve any of his Pokemon. And yeah, I'm not counting Pikachu as one of his unevolved Pokemon or Torkoal or Aipom as a fully evolved Pokemon since they don't have any evolution really. But for the Hoenn region, both Corphish and Grovyle are not fully evolved. And I know he gets Sceptile in the Battle Frontier, but that's a whole other thing. And I know he caught a trash Pokemon like Corphish, but the least he could have done was evolve it into a Crawdont. Finally, let's talk about the Hoenn League. Ash makes it to the top 8 of the Evergrande Conference, which on paper isn't bad, but the people he beats to get there weren't good either. While in previous generations Ash had rivals to beat like Gary, his rival in this generation is a guy named Morrison, who by the way barely makes it to the tournament. There's also not really much of a rivalry going on here, seeing how Morrison met Ash in the later part of his journey, but that's a topic for a whole other video. They do have a 6-on-6 battle, and the Pokemon Morrison uses are Gligar, Steelix, Swampert, Matang, Girafarig, and Growlithe. Towards the end, him and Ash both only have one Pokemon, which would be okay for someone like May who's a new trainer, but for a seasoned trainer like Ash, I expect better. I mean, this team has 2 non-fully evolved Pokemon, plus 3 Pokemon with 4x weaknesses. For example, Ash could have used Grovyle against Swampert, instead of using Grovyle against a steel type like Steelix, and use Galili against Gligar. Basically, Ash makes it to the top 8 of the Hoenn League and loses to this guy named Tyson, who to be fair to Ash has a pretty good team. He has a Matang and a Donphan, and unlike Ash, he actually has a Sceptile. To conclude this video, in my opinion, Ash should make the most of Hoenn. The Hoenn region is such a cool region with such cool Pokemon. And the fact that Ash missed an opportunity to build a better team and didn't max out his team's potential, all while having trouble beating the most easiest trainer after being a seasoned Pokemon trainer himself, just shows us how trash Ash was. Do you think Hoenn Ash was trash or the GOAT? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.